Right, YouTube, Shadow King Nazru, and unfortunately, I'm here to talk about the complete train wreck of a story that is Mortal Kombat 11. Now, Mortal Kombat 11 came out quite a while ago. I think it's been almost a year now, and the original story was bad. I mean, the gameplay was definitely good. I mean, there was a few issues. I still have a problem with the X-ray moves being too over the top, and some of them you have to question how can these characters survive blows like that, which would kill anyone with a humanoid body structure. But that's neither here nor there. But all in all, the gameplay was good. It's very fluid. There's a lot of combinations. Characters feel unique and varied. But yeah, but like I said, the story was awful. Raised to the potential of everything you set up in the reboot timeline, and contradicted the lore so much. And I was going to rant about this when it first came out, but I heard rumors that they might potentially do an expansion story, maybe tie up some loose ends, so I held my tongue until then. Well, they did, with Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. And they've honestly made things worse. So, instead of me just complaining about it, I should probably just go into details before I complain. So, Mortal Kombat 11's story starts shortly where Mortal Kombat X story ended, with Raiden tormenting Shinnok and decapitating him because you can't kill an Elder God. And he said that he was going off to warn Revenant Liu Kang and Revenant Kitana to not invade Earthrealm, or else they'll face his wrath. Because this is like Dark Raiden, who has a very extremist version of his own justice. Bear in mind that in Mortal Kombat X, he took Shinnok's head with him, but in Mortal Kombat 11, he did not take it with him. So, how is he, despite saying that he would have Shinnok's head serve as a warning, he didn't take it. That was not a good sign. But it gets worse. Yes, it does. It turns out that Shinnok has a mother, the Titan Kronika. Now, if you're a longtime Mortal Kombat fan, you'd be surprised that there are such things as Titans. And I'm right there with you, because they do not exist in the God hierarchy. Because, according to the Mortal Kombat lore, they're supposed to be the one being who's supposed to represent every aspect of the cosmos. And basically, if you compare it to like the Cthulhu mythos, he's basically Azathoth. Basically, as long as he exists in some form or fashion, reality that we know cannot. And then there's the Elder Gods, who had to band together just to overthrow the one being and separate his essence so they could create reality. And then there's demigods like Raiden, Fusion, and so on and so forth. So the Titans don't fit in this hierarchy. But the writers decided to have this new thing despite it not fitting with the lore, beside the fact that Mortal Kombat The Session said there was only the Elder Gods and the One Being, and the Elemental Gods. But for the sake of advocacy, let's go on with it. So apparently, Kronika is the Titan of Time and has complete mastery over it. Keep that in mind. Hold on. Stupid pop-up. Sorry. Oh, so where was I? Oh, yeah. So Kronika is the master and keeper of time, and is upset that Raiden has disrupted the temporal balance and the balance between good and evil by defeating Shinnok and making sure that he can't be a threat anymore. So anyone with common sense would think that she would just rewind time to back before Raiden decapitated Shinnok and tell him to release him, tell him he keeps the balance, and blah blah blah. But no, no, that's not what she does. Instead, she goes through this convoluted plan to have the entire Mortal Kombat universe restarted. Just because Rain messed with the timeline by preventing Shao Kahn from rising into power and decapitating Shinnok. No, it just. And there's also, and you really get how stupid this time travel thing is. Despite having mastery over time, she, in Outworld, she brings back Scarlet, Shao Kahn, Baraka, and Aaron Black. All you could argue makes sense for them to work for her. They have something to gain from her in their new era. I mean, albeit Shao Kahn was questionable because he's power hungry and would obviously betray her. But she also brings in uncorrupted Raiden, Liu Kang, Kitana, Jade, and Kung Lao. Question, Chronica. Why, in the One Being's universe, would you bring people that would not align with you and would undermine your entire plan, especially Raiden? A lot of people try to argue that, Chronica doesn't have complete mastery over time. Yes, she does. She said that she has complete mastery over time. So, what was the reason that she brought these people together? It's just really bad writing. Oh yeah, and also they brought back old Johnny Cage. I forgot that, but it just gets so bad, and it's just so many plot holes. Honestly, I swear to you, Chronica is one of the worst villains I have ever seen in fiction. She honestly feels like she belongs to like this. She honestly feels like a fan fiction character that's got self-inserted, and there's created so many plot holes and retcons. And you know some of a lot of the stories that you thought were interesting, like Kuai Liang, the current Sub-Zero, and Scorpion finally making peace. Scorpion rebuilding the Shiryu. I'm recording! I know, I'm letting it melt! Sorry about that. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Scorpion was helping rebuild the Shiryu and making an alliance with Kuai Liang and the Lin Kuei, the formerly longtime rivals. Completely undone. Because Scorpion, the old Scorpion, was brought back, and he fought against his future self, and his future self was killed by Devora. Yeah, Devora, that character that everybody hates because she constantly killed their favorite characters. Melina, Jared, now Scorpion. Huh. Oh, God. I really hate Devora. Let's see, what... and it also really shows how poorly written this whole time travel thing is. Like, for example, if they established that whatever happens to your past self happens to your future self, okay, that somewhat seems reasonable depending on how you implement it. Like, for example, Johnny Cage, the past one, got shot and got a scar on his face. Therefore, his future self developed a slightly healed and faded scar. That makes sense. But when Sonya Blade, voiced by the untalented Ronda Rousey, was fighting past Kano, future Kano was feeling the pain, which doesn't make any sense because this is past Kano from 20 years ago. Why would Kano from 20 years ago from 20 years in the future, still be feeling this pain? That's not how time travel works. I know I'm going out of chronological order, but I'm just talking about things that really pissed me off in this story. I also hate how Shao Kahn has become a complete idiot and says some of the cringiest dialogue. Honestly, ever since they rebooted the timeline, he hasn't been as smart as he was in the original timeline. He wasn't just powerful, he was cunning, like Megatron levels of cunning, which was how he was able to overthrow Onaga, the Dragon King, and the original ruler of Outworld, despite the fact that Onaga was so powerful that Shao Kahn knew that he couldn't take him out in a one-on-one fight, so he poisoned him and put him in dormancy. No, now the Shao Kahn is just a big dumb brute, and you got... and until Aftermath, he never wins a fight. He loses a fight to Kotal Khan, which, that's arguable. Kotal Khan kind of proved himself to be worthy of the title of Khan. But then he also loses to his stepdaughter, Kitana. What? That doesn't make any sense. If Kitana was capable of defeating Shao Kahn, why has he tried to do so in the past 10,000 years? She never challenged Shao Kahn because, one, she originally thought that he was that she was her daughter, but it turned out it was Jared. And two, she knew that Shao Kahn was too powerful. This is a woman who's lost to people like Liu Kang. Granted, Liu Kang is more Kombat champion, but still. Sometimes loses to Mileena and other characters who are well below Shao Kahn's level. Oh, yeah. It doesn't make any sense and just undermines Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn has become a complete joke ever since this series. Ever since because of Mortal Kombat 11. Ugh. And speaking of joke villains, there's also this one character named Garrus, who's supposed to be the enforcer of Kronika, and it's basically supposed to be like the doomsday of the Mortal Kombat universe. Like, every time he dies, he becomes more powerful and supposed to can't be killed the same way, or something like that. You figure that a character like that would at least win a few fights. Nope. Every time he loses a fight. Oh my god. What a complete joke. What a complete embarrassment of a character. And I also mentioned there are some retcons. There was a retcon of Scarlett's character. Originally, she was supposed to be this creature that was created from the flesh pits, much like Mileena. But nope, apparently she's an orphan that Shao Kahn took under his wing and taught her blood magic now. I honestly don't know why we couldn't just keep the continuity, but fuck it. And it's just so many things like that. And there was also more things that don't make sense. Like, there was this one point where Revenant Liu Kang captured past Liu Kang and decides that in order to defeat Raiden, he was going to absorb his past self's soul. Liu Kang? Question. If past Liu Kang dies, and it's not the same way that he died in this current timeline, how the hell are you going to exist? Stupid. These writers are so stupid. And yeah, you're pretty much seeing a good fine example of how badly written this shit. And we're just on the base Mortal Kombat 11. Now we move on to, there's more I can talk about. I think I want to get into Aftermath. Okay, so Mortal Kombat Aftermath. No, wait. Before I do Mortal Kombat Aftermath, I want to talk about one more thing. So they introduced an elder god properly named Sechion, and she's supposed to be the sister of Shinnok and the daughter of Kronika. But fine, she's supposed to be like the elder god of virtue or whatever, and nature. And you find out in one of the scenes that she managed to kill all the elder gods, despite the fact that Shinnok and many other characters said that it's impossible to kill an elder god. Continuity and rules be damned. Just awful. Completely awful. I have not seen such a complete disregard and disrespect and complete catastrophe of lore, rules, history, and characters since The Last Jedi. I can honestly see why people are comparing Mortal Kombat 11 to The Last Jedi, especially after Aftermath. So, Mortal Kombat Aftermath, it starts with after Liu Kang becomes Fire God Liu Kang by Raiden merging his very being with the Revenant Liu Kang and just purifying him and making him a god. He defeated Kronika, and depending on whether you defeated her perfectly twice, or if you only won one, if you defeated her twice, you could get the Liu Kang X Kitana ending, or if you just only won one match, the final match, you got Liu Kang being mentored by Raiden on how to restart the universe. But because the writers finally realized how much Kronika sucks as a villain, they decided to give her one win, and thus Liu Kang is not with Kitana. Super. But it's neither here or there. Liu Kang's about to restart the timeline, but he's stopped by Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf, who say that without Kronika's crown, they can't restart time properly and it'll end all of existence. So the plan is to send Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf to the point in time where the crown still existed. Now, naturally, Nightwolf and Fujin are there to make sure that Shang Tsung doesn't pull a fast one, because Shang Tsung is about as trustworthy as Lucifer. But yeah, and they basically try to go through their other plan, and eventually they need to figure out a way of how to defeat Kronika without disrupting the timeline, but they don't have enough power. So Shang Tsung suggests reviving Revenant Sindel. And after the whole few shenanigans, including recruiting Shiva, Sindel does get brought back to life. But there is a problem. You played Mortal Kombat 11 in the arcade mode, and it seems like they changed Sindel's character from being this loving queen, caring mother. They basically made her the evil queen stereotype, who just cares about power, lust, and hardly anything else. Yeah, everybody hated that because that ruined Sindel's character. It was just as bad as when The Last Jedi ruined Luke Skywalker's character and he became Jake Alien Milk Drinker. but we were willing to reconcile with it because we thought it was non-canon and that the writers would pick up and realize that this was not a direction they should take the character. But nope. Turns out this is the canon version of Sindel now. She's been evil this whole time, and she killed Jared herself just to consummate her relationship with Shao Kahn, who she thought was a better husband because he could protect her privilege and bring her even more power. Oh, aside from that complete character assassination, we established the original timeline. It was established that Shao Kahn killed Jared and forcefully took Sindel as his bride, which caused her to commit suicide and led to the events of Mortal Kombat 3 and whatnot. Now, in the reboot, they had a dialogue between Devorah and Kitana, and Devorah says that she was the one that killed Jared. Now it's Sindel. Make up your mind, writers. Which is it? But yep, Sindel's evil. She recruits Shao Kahn, heals him, defeats Shiva, and tricks the Shao Kahn into thinking that it was Kitana that turned on the Shao Kahn, despite the fact that Kitana is nowhere to be found, thus making the Shao Kahn look like complete and utter idiots. But why should I be surprised at this point? Everyone's an idiot aside from Shang Tsung. I mean, which kind of undermines his old deception plan, because it's not impressive when you fool everyone if everyone's automatically stupid. But it just gets worse. Shao Kahn and Sindel defeat the forces of good. Johnny Cage, Sonya, Cassie Cage, some of the special forces take back their armies. Have a fight with Jade and Liu Kang. With Kitana and Liu Kang. They defeat them, and they decide to make Liu Kang suffer and break Liu Kang's legs, which causes the Revenant Liu Kang to have his legs broken. Now, I want you to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And just as things are getting worse, Fujin is tricked by Shang Tsung into giving him the crown when he was disguised as Raiden, and thus Shang Tsung has all the powers of Kronika, and is starting owning Raiden, Fujin. You gotta be asking yourself, if Kronika has complete mastery over time, why didn't she just freeze these people and erase anyone who could be a threat to her out of existence? That's a very good question. And the answer is that she's a complete idiot. And she just has lackeys do it, despite the fact that there's a good chance that they could lose. Yep, Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and Sindel just keep fighting their way into Kronika's keep and to get control of the hourglass, and they defeat what's left of Kronika's forces, which was Revenant Kung Lao, Revenant Jade, and Revenant Kitana, who, the last two were killed by Sindel, Mother of the Year. And Shao Kahn and Sindel started gloating on how despite being a Titan, that Kronika is nothing, only to get betrayed by Shang Tsung. And saying that he's going to take Kronika's power and they're just going to be his servants. One would have to ask, despite the thousands of years that that Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn have worked together, why didn't Shao Kahn suspect his coming? Why did he allow Shang Tsung to wield Kronika's crown when he knows that Shang Tsung would easily betray him if he had the opportunity and the power to do so? Like I said, this version of Shao Kahn is an idiot. So Shang Tsung gloats how he's gonna turn everyone into his servants in the new timeline. Shao Kahn and Sindel are rightfully pissed and try to fight him, only to fail and get killed off by him absorbing their souls. And just as Shang Tsung is about to restart the timeline, Fire God Liu Kang comes to confront him and prevent it for him altering history. Now you might be wondering if Liu Kang had his legs broken if both normal Liu Kang and Revenant Liu Kang had their legs broken, why is Fire God Liu Kang completely fine? As far as we know, he didn't create an alternate timeline, so this is not how that works. But we've pretty much proven that these writers don't know how time travel works. It's just written on the film. God, this is just awful. So Liu Kang confronts Shang Tsung, and arguably this is the best part. Depending on your choice, you could either have Liu Kang win or Shang Tsung win. Which brings me back to the question, how is it that Liu Kang, just with the powers of Raiden, a demigod, able to thwart a Titan who's supposed to be more powerful than the Elder Gods, and depending on whether you believe Dominic Giancello is supposed to be more powerful than the One Being, though I believe most fans who know the lore know that's complete and utter bullcrap, and also it contradicts what Steven, what's-his-name said, because the Titans are supposed to be below the One Being, just like every other entity in the Mortal Kombat universe. But going back here, Shang Tsung, who just absorbed the powers of Raiden, Fujin, Nightwolf, Shao Kahn, Sindel, and Kronika, Liu Kang manages to defeat. I mean, if you chose him. So yeah, power scaling it's not all that good either. But then again, the power scaling has been pretty questionable since this whole reboot timeline started. This honestly feels like the sequel trilogies. I mean, I keep comparing it to the sequel trilogies, but it honestly feels that way. It really messes up the whole story. So, if Liu Kang wins, he restarts the timeline, and he recruits the Great Kung Lao, the current Kung Lao's ancestor, to be Mortal Kombat champion. Because Liu Kang can't do it because he's a god now, and gods can't compete in Mortal Kombat without sacrificing their immortality and divinity and whatnot. Which, okay, so we're back in here. One would ask, why, if Liu Kang has complete mastery over time, why is he just taking Raiden's place as a demigod and not just keep himself as a Titan? And also, why not bring Kitana to be your lover throughout all eternity? But whatever. But if Shang Tsung wins, he keeps the whole Titan hierarchy. I mean not that. I mean he keeps himself as a Titan and has agents like Fujin and corrupted Raiden conquer realms on his behalf. I mean, that's kind of lame just to have Shang Tsung just sit there and roll everything. You also got to question how did he handle the One Being? Do the other gods still exist? I doubt. They probably would. Shang Tsung probably just made them loyal to him. And I assume that because Shang Tsung is having people conquer these realms and ruling them on his path and not merging the realms, because if he merged the realms, that would just bring back the one being, and Shang Tsung, despite all his power, would not be strong enough to defeat the one being on his own. But it's a complete mess. And there's so many wasted storylines we didn't get into. They just ended off with this Shinnok arc, which was Mortal Kombat 4. We still had Deadly Alliance we could have done. Granted, we would have had to revive Quan Chi, who died in Mortal Kombat X, but that could have been done. The Deadly Alliance. You still had Deception with the return of Onaga. Armageddon. Honestly, I'm really disappointed because I was really hoping to see that the reboot timeline would do Onaga justice and prove why he's a greater threat than Shao Kahn. But nope. According to Shiva's arcade tower dialogue, they just skipped over the Onaga thing. Goro became Onaga's avatar, and then sometime between Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11, they dealt with the whole situation. Yeah, Onaga, who's supposed to be a greater threat than Shao Kahn, got dealt with off-screen. Oh my god. I hate this. I hate this. The story's a mess. Characters get ruined. Characters come and go and disappear. Like what happened to the Vora after she killed Scorpion, and before Liu Kang and Kronika rewrote history. Where were Reptile and Ermac when Kotal Khan was being attacked? He could back them up. It's just so many. This game has so many plot holes. It's so many bad storytelling. Ed Boon and his writing team should be completely ashamed of themselves. I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to be for Mortal Kombat, but considering how much spite there was in Aftermath, it wouldn't surprise me if they made the Shang Tsung ending the canon one, despite that creating a few plot holes and also being very nihilistic, a la Last Jedi. I could also go into how they try to insert modern political agendas with SGW stuff, but I don't want to go too much into that because I'm going to upload this to my Discord server, and we don't try to avoid talking about those things as much as possible. It was in the arcade towers, and it was to an extent in the main story, which was also really annoying, made it insufferable. But honestly, I cannot. If you want to play Mortal Kombat 11, the best thing to do is just turn off your brain and just enjoy the fighting. That's the only way you can enjoy it. If you came for the story, see where it was going, and receive and respect the characters, this game is not for you. And like I said before, I don't know what the future is for Mortal Kombat. It doesn't look good either way with either endings. The best thing to do is just reboot the whole thing, and just pretend. That's technically what they did, but pretend that Mortal Kombat 9 through 11 didn't happen, and just try to pay more respect to what the original timeline was doing, and just fix some of the things that they did wrong, and have the final threat not be this glorified fanfiction character Kronika, but actually be someone established and makes sense, like Onaga. Have him be the final villain of the Mortal Kombat series, with him being close to becoming the one being, and it's up to Liu Kang or Shujinko or whoever to have everyone team up and help him defeat Onaga. But nope, as long as they're doing this, it's wasted potential. Complete waste. I apologize that my thoughts were all over this place. I'm just really, really angry with this game, and it's hard to get my thoughts together. I mean, I could have wrote a script, but it's not. I don't want to put this much energy in this awful game. Those were all my thoughts on Mortal Kombat 11. Complete travesty, complete disgrace to gaming and storytelling. Though I wouldn't recommend buying this game. Buy games like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Buy Destroy All Humans Remake. Buy some other game with a good story and great gameplay and characters. Just don't buy Mortal Kombat 11. And NetherRealm, when Mortal Kombat 12 gets there, get your act together and respect these characters, this lore, and mythology, or Mortal Kombat is dead. I'm King Nazru, and I'll catch you guys later.